This week on Ignition, the most complete supercar ever.
We really don't have a good reason to do this show this week. The Audi R8 was introduced 6 years ago. In 2008, we named it the best handling car in America. And since, we've tested the snot out of every V10 we could, the Coupe, the Spider, and the GT. So why are we here? Because it's a V10 Audi R8, and I want to drive it.
Let's refresh ourselves with the details, shall we? The R8 is a product of Quattro, Audi's in-house performance division. As you'd expect, it's all-wheel drive, it uses a lightweight aluminum body, and its V10 is sourced from the Lamborghini Gallardo. It'll top out at 196 miles an hour.
When you're launching the Audi R8, now you have to keep in mind you have a very, very, very powerful V10 engine attached to four wheels through a manual transmission. That means clutch slip. So we're going to dial in a few revs, slip the clutch, and get out of the hole. It is quick indeed. 0 to 60, 3.4 seconds. Oh, and I love the way this shifter sounds when you bang it through the gates. The quarter mile passes at 11.6 seconds at 122 miles an hour. And now for our 60 to 0 braking test. Stops very, very quick. 100 feet from 60 is our best stop. All right, beginning the figure eight in the Audi R8. Oh. I always forget how wonderful this car is to drive quickly. It doesn't behave like a typical all-wheel drive car with lots of understeer. It'll actually, the tail end will come out on you real quick. This is pure supercar stuff right here. So much grip, so willing to play, and so many revs too. It just screams and screams, and you think you're at redline, then you look down and you realize there's 2,000 more RPMs to play with. That's the beautiful thing about a supercar, is it's near sensory overload at the limit. But when you can control it, when you get it right, when you manage everything, it's a thing of beauty. The R8 is a rolling example of the supercar done right. I mean, every component of this car, every piece feels bespoke and unique and custom just for this car. I mean, you still get the Audi DNA, but this thing feels like the purest of the breed. But what I find interesting is that this costs about the same money as the 911 Turbo S. And the 911 in a lot of people's minds is a sports car, while this is a supercar. You know, partly one of the reasons I think that is because the design of this thing. I mean, it's simply stunning. And I think years from now, we'll look back at this car and see it as the car that ushered in a new generation of supercar styling. You see motorcyclists giving you thumbs up. You see people stopping in their tracks on the side of the road. I mean, people in cars next to you on the freeway still take photos. And what's more incredible is you have the performance to back up that styling. I mean, it makes peak torque when most cars are hitting redline, and you just have to love that kind of character. You know, truthfully, there really is no great transmission option for the R8. You have the R-tronic, which shifts kind of slowly and feels a bit clunky, especially in contrast to a modern twin-clutch transmission. And this manual that we're in now, it takes a lot of muscle to move between gears. It makes some wonderful sounds though on downshifts. You get that metallic clank, which is kind of rewarding, but still the effort is pretty high for a car that doesn't feel like it should be. But still, having a transmission like this with a gated gearbox like this, the effort's high, but in its defense, it's gonna feel more special every time you take it out on the weekend or when the weather's right or when you want to take a road trip. That's gonna add to sort of the aura of the car. I just want to shut up and enjoy this.
The R8 is the most complete supercar on the road. It combines so many disciplines so seamlessly that it just makes you giddy. It's effortless to drive in traffic with a flexible powertrain with an inexhaustible supply of torque. It's a joy on mountain roads, never frenetic, always fun. You never feel like this supercar has an edge that might cut you. It's playful, but never worrisome. The cabin, that gorgeous cabin, complements the stunning exterior. And then, when you're done driving it, you can just sit in the garage and stare at it for hours. The R8 is the supercar done right.
Yeah, you feel like Superman in this car. You feel like Tony Stark driving this car. Made a topical reference that's kind of old because of the Avengers where he drove an NSX. Now I feel your guys' pain because you just get like sit here, and like I'm like, wow, this is the greatest car in the world, you know, and you're like, yep, I'm sure it is.
I bet it's awesome.
Jackass.